Today, for the first time in nearly 2 years, fans are allowed back inside Edwin W. Pauley Pavilion on campus at UCLA. That's 694 days for a fan base thirsty for entertainment, for high-level, quality gymnastics that is a long time between drinks. The Bruins are back today hosting the Gym Cats of the University of Arizona, and it's live on the Pac-12 network. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Westwood. It's Jim Watson along with Janae Honest, who left the house for the first time after her birthday celebration and is still a step slow, I bet. Let's talk about UCLA. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the Bruins. The ranking is 27th, usually in the top 10 at this point. They've had 2 road meets. They've underperformed. But now they're home, and they're getting healthy. Can they build back better now?
They absolutely can. The Bruins have so much potential, and they know this. They're incredibly talented. They have so much depth. And being back at home, they're incredibly hopeful that they will have a better meet this today and for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it always feels better coming home. UCLA's numbers are trending upwards. They're getting healthy. And, of course, they have the loaded roster. Olympians like U.S. silver medalist Jordan Childs.
She's really hit the ground running. It's been a marathon for her, from training for the Olympics, competing in the Olympics, going on tour, and walking straight onto campus for the collegiate season. She has high-intensity experience of competing and truly showed it on bars and vault last week.
UCLA will have 4 in the all-around today, including Jordan Childs. What about Brooklyn Moores, the Canadian Olympian and all-around finalist in Tokyo?
As you mentioned, another former Olympian. She was healing from injuries and really needed to slow down her training and avoid a tons of impact. She's someone who we need to look forward to in the all-around. She has a unique gymnastic style. You'll see her only do front and forward skills, like that double front we just see right there. Coach BJ said she's one of the best performers out there. Unique contemporary style and amazing to work with.
Scheduled on 2 events, vault and floor. And of course, floor elegance runs in the family. Both Brooklyn and her older sister Victoria, both Canadian national champions on the floor. What about Arizona? Well, the Gym Cats come in with a modest ranking of 33, but this is a much better team that John Court brings to the coast than just last year. They are deeper, they are more talented, and they're younger. Perfect example of all of that, Emily Muller, the freshman from Cary, North Carolina.
Like you said, she's young. She's a freshman who is a leadoff in 2 events, and that really shows her as an athlete that she really knows how to set the tone for the rest of the rotation. She's calm, cool, and collected on all events.
Expected to go all around and leads off, as you just mentioned, both the vault and the bars. Lots to watch for today. Olympians, Pac-12 champions, and 2 teams in search of more. Bruins and the Gym Cats in front of a live audience, both at Pauley and on the Pac-12 network. Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by Clean, Simple Eats. Eat clean, keep it simple, and get results. Right outside the quad, the Bruin Bear, that's the Wooden Center in the background, right across from the Student Union, just a few steps from there. We welcome you inside Edwin W. Pauley Pavilion. Building's been here a long time. It's gone through a facelift. It still has the same feel when I was a kid and used to come up here and watch Reggie Miller play. Well, look who's here. You open the doors, and she's back. Valerie Condos Field is in the house. Did she say hi to you? Because I haven't seen her.
No, I literally just looked across about 10 seconds ago and saw her hyping up the crowd, and it truly just made my day.
Well, she built the program from the ground up, multinational champions, of course, and all that she's done, resurrecting so many great careers, written books, a cancer survivor. You can go on and on. She's in the Bruin Hall of Fame, and she is born and raised as a Bruin. It's nice to see her here. And longtime assistant and now the head coach in his 3rd season, Chris Waller, helped lead the Bruins to 4 of those NCAA championships, 03, 04, 10, and the last one that you were part of in 2018. Well, Waller also has been a Bruin for a long time. He came here as a gymnast. 91 he graduated, 4-time All-American, 3-time NCAA champions, and was a 1992 Olympian. Across the way, John Court, longtime assistant coach at Arizona for both Bill Ryden and Tabitha Kemp. But he is now in his 4th season as the head coach. Last year, led Arizona to the regionals and a number 27 final ranking. He likes this team. We talked to him. He says, look, we're young, we're good, we're much not only deeper, but we're wider. We're good on all 4 events now. So they're excited about it. And for Arizona, coming off a home quad last week, they saw one of the best teams in the country in Oklahoma. They also saw conference foe Stanford. UCLA has been on the road twice. They had a road meet at Minnesota where they lost both Minnesota and Iowa, and then went to Corvallis last week. Were beaten by Oregon State in what turned out to be a tri-meet. UC Davis was added late to that. UCLA's been in a funk. There's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of distractions. But Junaid, they're back home. They're on familiar ground. They got to be feeling better about things. And I know you were around them during warm-ups. Do they seem like a happier team?
They're definitely very hopeful. They're doing their best to stay in a good mindset, and they're keeping the smiles on their face, and they just want to put on a good performance for the home crowd.
Yeah, they're pumping that crowd up right now. Again, 694 days. March 8th, 2020 against California. We were here, we did that meet, and a couple of days later, they shut down, well, not just California, but they shut down the country, and everybody went into their caves for a while. We sure have missed it because it's a great place to come. And Valerie Condos Field and Chris Waller and BJ Doss and Don Palangi have really built up this program. Huge following, biggest social media following in the country for any women's collegiate team. And now again, the team is loaded. All-stars, Pac-12 champions, Olympians up and down, and we have not seen their best gymnastics. I, for one, am getting impatient. I want to see it.
I'm also getting impatient as well, so I think we're in for a treat. Starting with Nora.
Yeah, Nora Flatley will start UCLA as the home team in the Olympic order. They begin on vault. Nora Flatley, a 2-time U.S. national team member, has been on the vault in both meets and is coming off a season best 9.825 at Gill Coliseum in Corvallis a week ago. And we get underway at Pauley.
Yurchenko full. She has beautiful form off the table, and it was a great landing, just the slightest hop back.
Strange in the meet today is that there can be a lot of all-arounders. Flatley's going to go all-around. UCLA has 4 all-arounders. I can't remember when I've seen that. And Arizona has 3. Here's Emily Muller. We talked about her at the top of our show. One of those young athletes that her head coach, John Court, is so excited about. She was the North Carolina State vault champion a couple of years ago. Opens on bars.
Huge Tkachev. She gets so much air. Great transition to the low bar. It was called a bail, and she's going to finish off with a double A dismount. Missed that handstand a little bit, but stuck that landing.
Well, her bar scores have been good, but not great. A little muted. Not reaching 9.8 yet, but this one may.
She knew exactly where to put her hands, and she had sticky feet.
We got to hold on to that landing. We will post the scores as we go back and forth with our tombstone graphic. So Nora Flatley led off for UCLA on the vault. We'll see if those numbers are in. And Kendall Poston is scheduled second for the Bruins. UCLA as a team on vault. And these numbers are so out of whack for those of us who've been around the program. UCLA is only ranked 46th in the country on this event. Normally they're top 15 for sure. You see both the start values and the scoring.
We're going to see a front entry from Kendall. So it's a different vault than the usual Yurchenko we see in college. A lot of power. Big step on that landing, so the judges may take a little bit more from that, but I think that's a really good vault for Kendall.
Well, she's a reliable scorer on this event. Almost all of her scores are at least 9.8 or better. Last year at 9.875 3 different times. Lineup again for Arizona. Muller went first, and Linton is scheduled to go second. Serena Linton, a junior from South Phoenix. And I believe this will be her debut on bars this year. Just the 3rd meet of the season with cancellations early.
Sean did mention she's always ready to go up on events that she has routines. And so far she's delivering well. That was a great handstand transition to the low bar. You always need to make sure you get your shoulders above the bar when you kip up into the handstand. Beautiful dismount, just the slightest scooch forward.
The high mark for her last year came on balance beam where she was in the anchor spot, and she is scheduled in that same position today against the Bruins. Different mindset for Linton this year, more aggressive, going after things. It comes with maturity and confidence. So Flatley goes 9.85, posted 9.75. Malabuyo, Emma Malabuyo, the freshman from Milpitas up in the Bay Area, has been on the vault in both meets. Her best so far is a 9.725. That's going to be better.
She brings a lot of power, and you see she gets great pop off that table. Great form in the air. Just the slightest, I don't think she moved her feet very much at all.
Gets up to top speed with a short runway.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Scooch back, but that's going to be a very great score.
Yeah, since she hasn't even gone 9.8 yet, we can already say that's going to be a season best for her. Already you can see UCLA has a little more joy in their gymnastics. They're having a little more fun, and it's going to be contagious. It's going to spread throughout, and we'll see how Arizona reacts to that as well. Muller, 9.75 opener for the Gym Cats of the U of A. Still waiting the score for Linton. And then Malia Hargrove on deck. Hargrove has been up and down on bars. Had a career-high 9.8 at South Utah in their opener. Then in a quad meet at home last week, fell on bars. Got to put that out of your mind.
You're going to see some clean lines from Malia. She's fluid yet aggressive on this event.
You know, when we talked with John Cord about Malia, he said she feels like she's trying to make something happen. Can you try too hard on bars?
Yes, you can definitely try too hard in this sport in general. You don't want to overload your mind with too many corrections and forcing something. You really just need to let your body do what it knows how to do.
The bars fall last week, and this is from her head coach right there, John Cord, was scary. And for gymnasts, sometimes it takes a little while to work through that. You know, you've been on this apparatus so many times in training in the gym, in meets, club competition, but all of a sudden it feels new again.
That was great. It looks like the full pirouette she did before, she was trying to finish it in that handstand, and she ended up going over, but she completed it in the handstand that second time, which is what you want to do. That's what the judges are looking for. Last is the dismount.
Well, that was a big moment for her, I think, personally, right?
Yes.
Coming back from that. Putting it all together. What happened at the start of this?
So she looked like she was trying to complete her full pirouette in the handstand. She has a tendency to finish the turn after that handstand line. And she was able to do that in the second try. And she finished it off with a good dismount.
You know, last year, this team wasn't as deep, and John was telling us that Malia felt like she had to carry the ball for this team who was doing a lot. And now it's a different role. They pulled some of the pressure back from her. Doesn't have to do quite so much. Brooklyn Moores.
Same vault from Kendall. Brings a lot of power as well. Just had the slightest scooch back. She did land with her chest down, so the judges may take off a little bit more for that, but it was the same front entry vault that we saw from Poston. But she knew exactly where she was, so that should be a pretty good score.
Had a 9.85 in Minnesota in the opener. That was her best of the year. Big step at Oregon State. Limited her to a 9.65 last week. The score should be closer to the former. So Hargrove with the trouble, just a 9.175. You can drop that score. Remember, 6 compete, but only 5 count. Elena Dietz. Dietz, a regular in the middle of the bars lineup, had a 9.825 last week in the quad meet at home against Oklahoma and Stanford.
That was a good full pirouette, directly connected into a Tkachev. She did finish that full pirouette out of that handstand range. Short on that last cast handstand as well, but let's see what she does on the dismount. finds that stick.
There you go. Elena, just a sophomore, and you can see that John Court now is recruiting all over the country. We already talked about Muller being from North Carolina. Dietz is from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Jessica Castles is from England. So, you know, you ask John, he'll tell you, you got to go where the talent is. Now, certainly the Phoenix and Tucson area, there's lots of great club gymnastics, so they can mine the home fields, but got to go far and wide. Moore's got a 9.8, second highest score for UCLA. Jordan Childs. How many teams in the country go back-to-back with Olympians?
Let's see. I don't know. Not very many, it seems like. She changed up her vault. She does a Kazumatsu full now. And I think that was a great switch for her from the Yurchenko double full.
Coming off a career high 9.875. It was also the team high on this event at Oregon State in that tri-meet.
So a Kazumatsu, she's going to do a quarter turn on the table and do a full turn, full twist right out of that. And I think that they found that sweet spot with the good vault for her.
Arizona is only ranked 51st on the bars, but they have a chance to pull out a decent rotation here. No more room for mistake after Hargrove's fall. So Dietz 9-7. They need to bump these numbers with McCabe and Fears at the back end. Bailey McCabe, sophomore from up in Washington, Maple Valley, just outside of Seattle. Solid on this event, and a 9.825 in the opener at Southern Utah. Should be her only event.
Head coach John mentioned that she has a longer routine than most. Usually shorter is better in college, but they gave her the freedom to choose the routine she wanted to do, the skills she wanted to compete, and she's comfortable with this, and it's working out in her favor so far. What's the advantage? More skills of going longer? I think there really isn't an advantage. I know, because it just gives more room for more deductions if you do more skills. But if the gymnast is comfortable with doing that certain routine and she hits well, then
I like what you said, though. Shorter is better.
Shorter
get up,
is better.
Get it done, and get off.
But
it works for her.
Beautiful dismount. She stuck that one, so I think that should be another great score.
Well, so much of gymnastics is about comfort level, right?
Yes.
Whatever makes you feel best and most confident when you get up. So one more to go on each side to complete the rotation. Shea Campbell is expected in the anchor spot. There she waits. Shea Campbell, 2021 Pac-12 Freshman of the Year. She was also the co-champion on the floor. We'll get to that much later today. Three-time Texas State champion and a U.S. junior champion on the vault. Expect something special.
A lot of height and distance from Shea. She gets so much power from that pop off the horse. Great form. She keeps those legs and toes squeezed together, and she knew exactly where she was landing and didn't give the judges much to take from. Notice how she flared out too. She flared out her arms to prepare for that landing.
She had a 9.8 on that vault last week, a 9.9 in the opener, and I think it's going to be closer to that 9.9. 9.825 from McCabe. Allison Fears to close out the rotation for Arizona. And again, the pressure's on. They've already burned a fall. So Fears needs to come through. She opened her career with a 9.85 in the anchor spot at Southern Utah, but she too had a fall last week. Handstand was vertical. Seems clean and not rushed so far.
Allison brings beautiful form. Her knees and toes are squeezed together. I think that's why she's in the anchor spot. That was an amazing routine.
Well, that's what they needed. Like, hey, you got to stay in the meet early on. You don't want to give it away in that first rotation with the fall. It's going to happen. But like John Court told us, we're not only more talented, we're deeper and we're wider. We're better across the board on every event. And they show it by coming right back. Chris Waller with some words of encouragement. It has been a tough time for the Bruins in Westwood, both inside and outside of the gym. And Waller circles the wagons. Team first in Westwood. So UCLA has a good opener on the vault. For UCLA, again, only ranked 46th in the country coming in. They were averaging less than a 49. In fact, they had not hit 49 in a rotation until about 90 seconds ago. 49.250, more like it for UCLA.
More like it, yep.
And good scores from top to bottom for UCLA. And in that anchor spot, speaking of good scores at the back end, Shea Campbell comes through with the 9.9. That was a beautiful vault.
It really was. She is someone that brings so much power yet grace to this sport, and that vault is just what they needed to tie up that rotation for the Bruins. Flare, boom. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, complete control of that vault from the top of the runway. So she really gave UCLA a nice bump because they got to drop Kendall Poston, who had a respectable 9.75. So every score UCLA counts is at least 9.8 or better. Campbell, Giles, Flatley, Malabuyo, and Moores. And UCLA's off to a good start. So the first 49, UCLA coming into this meet did not have an individual ranked in the top 40 on vault. And again, these numbers are also out of whack for UCLA. We're so used to seeing top 10 ranking as a team. Top 10, top 15 on every single event across the board. But you don't want to go crazy. It's early in the season. Chris Waller's been through this many times. There's all kinds of time for improvement. Now, they're still chasing Utah. They're chasing Oregon State. They're chasing Cal, who put up another big number last night. But it all matters what happens in March.
That is true. And even when I was competing on the team, even we peaked a little bit later. And I think we always peaked at the right time. But it's also good, to show that consistency all throughout season. But it's also good to just constantly get better each meet because, like you mentioned, it all counts in March.
For Arizona on the bars, they were averaging just barely over a 48, although they did have a 49.050 at South Utah. The number's off because they had a couple of falls in the quad meet last week, so they're capable of a 49, a low 49. And because of the early fall, they're just below that, but they end up with a pretty good rotation. And again, at the back end, Allison Fierce with a 9.85. Fierce was in the anchor spot for the Gym Cats, so they had to have a good score there, and she came through with it. Fierce, a freshman from Murrieta, which is down just inland from San Diego, between San Diego and Palm Springs.
And also Allison being a freshman and being in the anchor spot, that shows a lot about how she is as an athlete. She's able to perform under pressure. They did have a fall in that rotation. And as a freshman, it sometimes can take a bit longer to learn that. And we are very early in the season, and it seems like she has it down pat.
Allison Fierce off to an excellent career start. Already has 3 season highs of 9.85 or better. Has been an all-arounder since she got on campus, and she will be today as well. Coming back, second rotation from Westwood. 3.50, that's the 11th best score in school history. I was trying to remember, since the Howells have gotten there, I think they have posted 9 of the top 11 scores all time in California gymnastics. So, we've said it many times, but the Howells are doing a great job in the East Bay. We switch sides, and Arizona begins the second rotation with Muller on the vault. So Muller leading off both the bars and the vault.
That was a really good Yurchenko full. She got good height, great form, and honestly, I don't think the judges could really take much on that landing. Her feet had maybe a little bit of a scooch.
She had a 9.8 in the quad meet last week. That's her best mark of the season. So Shea Campbell was in the anchor spot on vault. She's in the leadoff on bars, so going back to back.
A little short on that first handstand there, but a great connection. Shaposh to Bill. She made sure to hold that one. Could have a cup of tea. She's going to do a blind landing, double front dismount. This is very difficult.
So inward, and she stuck it. Yeah, you get excited about that one. Only the second bars routine of the year for Campbell. She had a 9.7 at Oregon State, was not in the bars lineup at Minnesota in that opener against the 2 Big Ten teams.
So you can see that handstand was a little bit short, so the judges could take a little bit, but she made sure to hold this one. Boom. Her teammates going crazy. That's going to be a great score.
Back to the vault, where Arizona is ranked 31st. It's one of their better events. They've gone as high as 48.925. They've not hit the 49 yet. Muller with a 9.775 opener. And here's Fears with a start value of 9.95. You want to litter your lineup with 10-0 start values. Fears on the vault. Bit of a slow start so far. Had a 9.6 last week and a 9.75 the week before.
It's a good vault. Yurchenko full. She could get a little more block off that table. She's lacking a bit of height. A little bit loose in the knees. You'll see right here. Doesn't get much block. So she loses a bit of amplitude. Had a hop back, but John is happy with that.
She was a California State floor champion during her time at the club level, and we will see her in the floor later on today. Potterio should be next. Anna Potterio for UCLA, her first event of the day. We're hesitating on the lineups because what did we have? 5 different lineup changes in the last 20 minutes?
You know.
We're going through a lot of paper.
Who knows if they'll hand us another paper.
But it's early in the year, and a lot of it is based, the coaches will change their lineups, even the order, based on how you warm up. Potterio had a fall at Minnesota in the opener, was not in the lineup last week. So a little bit of a mental block here, got to break through it. Be clean, be big.
Beautiful handstand. Just going to start off with a shaposh. So far, so good. Beautiful bail. Just very clean form. Her execution. Double tuck. Had a slight hop forward, but that was a very good routine.
Freshman from Ontario. World champion silver medalist on the beam back in 18. Canadian uneven bars champion in 2019, so sparkling resume coming in. And for Waller, this event is personal. This was his signature event as an assistant coach, and he continues to be in charge of the bars. 9.75 for Fears, and here for the first time, and we mentioned Jessica Castles earlier from Fleet, England. This will be just her second vault of the year. She had a 9.725 at Southern Utah.
Yurchenko full.
Oh, hold on to it.
Stuck
Nice.
it. She gets good distance as well, and just great form all around. The judges will take nothing on that landing.
Expecting Jessica with a mix of vaults, beam, and floor this year.
She's a little piked in the hips throughout the twist, but I think that was going to be a very good vault score.
Expecting to see her again on the beam. She was the leader last week when Arizona put up a very impressive 49.225 in that quad meet on the balance beam. Continue to check scores for you as they come in. The judges have been a little hesitant to punch them in early for us.
On board for UCLA,
UCLA went 49.250 in the vault rotation. Potterio only a 9.725. Sarah Julius is third up for the Bruins on bars, where UCLA is ranked 30th. They hit 49 once, but no Bruin ranked in the top 20 individually.
Sarah has the most beautiful straddle Jaeger. She gets so much air. Her knees and toes are just impeccable. This is a new dismount for her. Great handstand. Double layout, just gonna keep her body straight. Seemed like her knees were locked, so she had that bounce back and had to take that step. Here's her Jaeger, and I need you guys to see how much height she gets on this release move. And she's able to stretch out her fingers and catch the bar.
Had to reach for the bar, yeah.
Yeah, on that dismount, she had her knees locked a little bit, so she had to take that step, but I think overall, that might just be the biggest deduction, was the step on the dismount.
On the release move, always better to be a little bit further away than a little bit too close, right? Because it's harder to get the grips back onto the bar. You don't want to be short.
I think you really just want that sweet spot.
Yeah,
you don't want to be too close.
Sure.
You don't want to be too far either. And you can feel it too in the air when you're too far. So you have that little bit of a panic moment to stretch a little bit further, but it's good to always adjust.
Back to the vault. Remember, Arizona is a young team, so as this year wears on, they're going to get better. They're going to polish these routines. But we could hear it in John Court's voice on the phone call the other day. He's excited about this team. He likes what this team's possible of. And what did he say 3 or 4 times? I wrote it down. We're a really good gymnastics team. He kept saying that, which you would expect, right? But it was the way he said it.
Yeah, it's good to have a coach that really believes in the team as a whole and just really seeing the potential, and also to have a team that has the motivation to do better and to do well collectively.
So a sub 9.7 for Julius. That means the back 3 Bruins need to pick it up here. Malabuyo again. Malabuyo on the vault at a 9.825.
Beautiful pack salto down to the low bar. She had a lot of air time.
Went 9.8 at Oregon State with this routine a week ago. Just the dismount.
Double layout. Little hop back, but I think that was a very good routine. It's called a pack salto, and just look at how much air she gets. And that is also a very small window. You need to have your hands hit the bar at the right time to be able to glide, kip out of it.
And you can see Waller, if you were watching down in the foreground, he applauded when he saw the execution of it because it's exactly what he wanted. He knew it was done right. And that was just an instinct by the coach. So a lot of times when I'm watching the routine, I try to get one eye off just to check with the coach because they'll tip off how well they think it's going. They've seen it 100 times. They know. They know what's good.
We're going to see your Chenko full from Danielle. Just great form. Little off center, hopping to the side. But generally when she does this vault, she's ready for the landing.
I think Arizona's a little discouraged right now. They came in, they knew this was a big meet. Besides beam, they were a little shaky at the home quad, but they started so well at Southern Utah, put up good numbers. And they were expecting to build off of that, but that's gymnastics. Malabuyo, 9.825, so Childs at Flatley now still to go.
Childs has a difficult starting release move. She's going to do a pike to Kachev, which is more difficult than a straddle one because you lose sight of the bar. Usually when you straddle, you can see the bar, but when you pike it, you're not able to see it as clearly. In bar Ginger, very difficult. Beautiful handstand, held nicely. Flip twisting double back, held on to that landing.
Well, she's been the best on this event for UCLA in both of the first 2 meets, a 9.825 at Minnesota, and last week at Oregon State, a 9.925. I think this is going to be real close.
Jordan is another
That's beautiful.
athlete that has a longer routine, more skills. You generally don't see 2 major releases in a college routine, but she handles it so perfectly.
Well, you can see that senior elite pedigree coming out. She's such a big swinger. She's powerful. You can feel it. You're expecting something. And the dismount was impressive. Nosek, 9.775 for Arizona. And Hargrove now in the anchor. I believe they flipped these 2 positions. Either way, it's still going to add up to your best 5 scores.
She's a beautiful vault, great height and distance.
Strong event for her, and she sits it down. It's too bad she had gone 9.85 at Southern Utah on that. They needed a score there. these are part of the growing pains with a lot of young gymnasts, and as your program is trying to step upwards.
She went for the 1.5, which is a 10.0 start value. It seemed like she just had her body open a little too long, so her feet were in front of her and she couldn't really hold that landing.
I know it's easy for me to say, but I like the gamble. I like going for the 1.5. I don't know, why play conservative? 9.9 for Childs. And here's Flatley. Remember, she led off on the vault. She closes on the bars. Flatley is money on this event. 26 straight hits. She's been good in both of her meets, a 9.875 and a 9.9. Release move clean.
That was a unique skill right there. It was called a Higgins into an eagle grip. Beautiful handstand held. She's really aggressive when she swings. Had that hop back, but Nora is someone that is just so beautiful when she swings on the bars.
Well, the first box she had to check was to drop Julius's 9.675. She's done that.
So that was an eagle grip right into her release move, but just imagine putting your hands out and turning your hands in and grabbing the bar. That's how difficult the eagle grip is, and you really need shoulder flexibility for that.
So Childs had already put up a 9.9. Malabuyo with a 9.825. Campbell with a 9.8. And then Padererio with a 9.725. This number is going to be somewhere in the middle of all of that. So UCLA going to be close to the 49 again. That's what they're trying to do, start clicking off 49s in rotation and get to a 197. It is a beautiful day in Westwood. If you ever get on this campus, that's called Bruin Walk.
It's love awesome. And hate Bruin Walk. So many stairs.
You're telling me a D1 athlete can't walk upstairs on campus?
I mean, just think about it. You're going to practice, you're going to weights, and then you got to walk uphill for what seems like a mile up to class. It's just, my calves were really working.
I'm guessing you avoided the Jan steps over there leading up to
I was never on Jan steps.
That's where all the pictures were taken on campus. Look, at the beginning of this thing, we talked about UCLA off to a slow start this year, and they had lost to the two Big Ten teams, Minnesota and Iowa. Minnesota was the champion of that conference last year. Then they went to Oregon State, got beat by the Beavers. They're ranked only 27th. The numbers haven't been there. They're struggling to hit 49s. We asked for more. We're getting more. UCLA has now hit 49 in each of their first two rotations. So they're better.
They're better. From vault, that's more what we're used to. That vault rotation is exactly what we're used to seeing. Bars, it seemed like, they're struggling with landings a little bit. Handstands weren't quite there, but again, better than what we've seen from the first two meets.
So UCLA went 49.250 on the vault, one of the better scores of the year. They went 49.050, and that rotation was led by Jordan Childs once again, a 9.9.
And Jordan is someone that has a very stacked routine, and for her to score a 9.9 with all these skills, two major release moves, hitting those handstands, she stuck her dismount. She delivered when the Bruins needed her to.
Yeah, and listen, anybody who's around gymnastics knows UCLA is going through a lot of challenges right now. And we talk about all the advantages of having Olympians on your team. One of the advantages is they're used to performing under pressure. When you go to the Olympics and your entire country is leaning on you, and just to get there, just your whole life through club, but those last 2 years building up to the trials and then waiting to get selected to the team, these young women have been through tougher spots than this. So I'm not surprised to see them responding, but I sure am happy about it.
Right, yeah, and it's interesting too because, it's a little bit intimidating coming onto a team that has Olympians, but once you learn you're all on a level playing field, you're all on one team, and honestly, the Olympians aren't doing the crazy skills that you see, in Tokyo. They're toning it down a little bit.
Yeah, collegiate's different, right.
And you're older, the body's breaking down, so they're going to do those easier routines. Yeah.
You'll see. It's great to have audience back inside. Pauley, Valerie Condos Field is here. She, of course, built this whole thing. We come back. We're looking at another Olympian, the Olympic gold medalist, Jade Carey from Oregon State. Seen it, and listen, that's a real college town, and they know who you are when you walk on campus. And if you're an Olympic gold medalist, everybody knows who you are. Everyone wants to talk to you, and I'm sure there were a lot of pressures. And she's just handling it gracefully and marvelously so far. Last night, a couple of 9.95s. 39.775 in the all-around. So great start for Jade Carey, and welcome to the Pac-12. Super happy to have you. All right, UCLA is going to the balance beam here in the third rotation. With everything that's going wrong with UCLA and going sideways, and injuries and the problems, the challenges, this has still been a good event for UCLA. They're ranked 13th in the nation. They hit 49 already. They went 49.275 at Oregon State last week. So that's the good news. We'll check the lineup today. And UCLA scheduled on beam, Poterio, and everybody for UCLA has an interesting mount.
To me, that's kind of a scary mount, but I love the unique mounts that we see in this sport.
Well, you want to get the judges' attention right away.
Beautiful series. And it's difficult going from a side skill to a back skill, back to back, and she handled that very well. And as a freshman, she is already exuding so much confidence.
That is a wonderful picture by Mark Wolfson, our director, and our crew with the stands full.
Beautiful sheep jump.
That's the student section.
That's a very difficult jump to do because you take your eyes completely off the beam for a hot second, and your toes almost touch your face. That was a great routine to lead off the Bruins on the balance beam.
You're looking at an international league. She won a silver medal at the World Championships.
Take her eyes off the beam. Her toes touch the top of her head. They're yelling for a 10. Truly, I didn't see much wrong with that routine.
I was just going to ask you if they're...
I'm really trying to be picky.
So it's not an unreasonable request?
No,
but
I don't think it's unreasonable, but we'll see.
No balance checks, no bobbles, clean on the landing. Arizona tries to focus down as they move to the floor. Libby Orman, her first event of the day. Has been solid on this. On 9.7 and 9.8 on floor. Another Minnesota club gymnast.
Head coach John said she is a performer, and y'all are about to see this right now. Her personality is really going to come out. Great first pass.
What was it? Her head coach John Cortola said she's just gonna outperform a lot of people on
the floor. He did mention that she outperforms most of her teammates, and I think that's really hard to do. You know, gymnastics can be a very serious sport. In club, you don't really smile much, and that's a transition for a lot of college gymnasts to really get into your character and use the floor as your stage. Finish off with a double pike. Great landing. She's happy with that one. Little body flop, acrobatic move. Showing all the sass.
Floor's been a good event for Arizona early in the year. I understand only 2 meets, but they're ranked 30th. They went 48.9 in the quad last week. 49's the goal.
Beautiful.
So we've had the lid lifter for either, and now it's Childs. 9.9 for Poterio. So it wasn't 10. I actually think the 9.9 might be soft.
I think so too, but you know what? That's a great leadoff score for the Bruins.
You bet. And again, a silver medalist at the World Championships. Here's Jordan Childs.
You need a lot of control on that mount. That's another unique one there.
So you go from a silver medalist at the World Championships to a silver medalist at the Olympic Games.
Great flick lay. You can see she was a little off center, but she held her legs together really quick to not give the judges the option of giving her a balance check. Beautiful leap. It's really important to hit that 180 split. That's also what the judges look for. We're going to see a difficult dismount from her. Something you don't see often in collegiate gymnastics. Round off double pike.
Oh, yes.
Had just the smallest hop back. But like I mentioned, she's an Olympian. She brings that difficulty. Well, this is very difficult. She's going to do 2 flips. You need to make sure you get your arms up and your hips up to get enough rotation. Because punching off of 4 inches is very difficult.
As she prepped for her dismount, it was great. I looked over at the bench and everyone kind of tightened up because they knew what was coming.
It's a big skill.
Exploded like a jack in the box, and she held the landing. 9.775 opener for Orman. And once again, Castles, who we saw on the vault with a 9.825. Castles on the floor has been good, but her problem has been consistency. This year, 9.75 at the quad, 9.725 at Southern Utah. So that's the consistency they want to see. Now she needs to raise it.
This is a new floor routine for her. She's going to open up with a 2.5 twist. Connected into a punch front. I also don't know if you noticed, she danced out of her punch front and made a dance element move so the judges won't take an extra step. Sometimes you need to improvise in this sport. Great landing. Her legs seemed a little twisted in the air, a little bit apart. The judges may take off a little bit for that. Beautiful leap, showing off her flexibility. A switch half ring at that.
Got a little Britney Spears Toxic thrown in there at the end. Did
I heard that
recognize
too.
Yeah.
You caught
Wow.
that? You
Yeah.
caught that. Here's her first pass. She's going to do a round off 2.5 twist, open up and get ready for that punch front, and notice how she danced out of it. It's really important to let your tumbling flow in with the choreography of your floor routine.
Only a 9.75 for Childs. They would actually like to drop that score at the end of this rotation. Malabuyo has already gone 9.825 on both vaults and bars.
Starting off with a difficult wolf turn. She's very dynamic, but also fluid on this event. And you can tell she really enjoys herself up there. Triple series coming up. Actually, no, she kept it at the flick lay.
At the U.S. Championships back in 2021, Malabuyo was 4th in the all-around and was 6th on the beam.
Beautiful. She hit that 180 split and added in a ring jump in there. She's really showing off her flexibility. And here she's going to do a Carlton. Have a little fun.
U.S. Olympic alternate.
Beautiful dismount.
And this is the quality gymnastics we expected to see from UCLA from the start of the season. So if we're impatient, you know, they were just chomping at the bit to get in here today. And the teammates are calling for a 10 now.
Here's her first series, flick lay. And now I'm understanding why she took out the triple series because she does the flick lay again into her dismount. And
Student section reacts.
And they like it.
A lot of body English in that section.
Some of them looked kind of tense.
It's great as we travel around and you get to these universities and you see not only good crowds, but you see the students. And UCLA turns them out. 9.775 and a 9.75. Starters for Orman and Castles. Once again, Allison Fears. Fears had a 9.75 vault, a 9.85 on bars. Only her second floor of her career. Had a 9.85 in her debut in the quad meet last week.
Beautiful double pike. She did have to take a big lunge out of that, and her front foot slid a little bit, so the judges may take off of that for that. I'm told that she's a freshman that works smarter and not harder, which is good for college because it benefits the body. But it took me personally a very long time to learn that myself. I was the one that always did a lot of dismounts for no reason. And for Fears to be able to learn that early on, she knows that she's in this for 4 years and really needs to save her body. Double tuck, very clean, landed with that chest down.
So John Core told us that she's capable of 39.4 in the all-around. Already she's on pace for a 39.2 today, and we know she could be better. So he knows his gymnast. And again, as you mentioned, work smarter, not harder, something everybody likes to learn. But usually if you're going to learn it, you learn it as an upperclassman, right?
Yep.
Trial and error. And as a freshman to know that, you're right, big advantage. Samantha Sakti for UCLA next up on the beam. High risk, high reward at a 9.85 at Oregon State.
It's a new series for her. Great connection from a leap into her flick lay. She gets a lot of height on her series as well, a lot of airtime.
Balance check there. Hold on to it. Be her only event of the day. First team all Pac-12 selection. 3 wins on the balance beam a year ago.
That was supposed to be a connection hitch kick into her side aerial. She did break that connection and had a balance check. So the judges, not really sure what the judges will do with that. This was supposed to be a connection right here, and she wobbled. So we'll see what the score ends up being. She had a few balance checks there, but
Would she have backed that up to connect it? Would she have had that option to back it up?
Yeah. So I guess it depends if she needed that connection or not.
And so far, this has been the story for UCLA. They've been good, they just haven't been great. And we're expecting it. So Arizona changed the order. That was Muller who went before, and now it's Fears. So we're getting to know the freshman right along with you. And it's not helping that John keeps changing his lineup.
I mean, this is what happens.
His prerogative, of course.
Last minute changes. Gotta prepare for the unexpected.
Yep.
Clean double tuck to start off. Deep breath before her last pass. Round off 1.5. Punch front full, a little more difficult. And she executed that very well. That should be a solid score. Here's her last pass. Usually you see gymnasts just do a round off 1.5 punch front layout, but she adds an additional twist. Gives her that extra difficulty. You saw John slide his foot a little bit. She wanted her to hold on to that landing.
So now they want to drop Saki's 9.55 with Flatley and Campbell. And for Flatley, the beam has been a struggle so far. She needs a clean routine.
No one performs quite like Nora on this event. She brings such artistry with her beauty and her lines.
Very nice.
Solid connection. It's a beautiful leg up turn. She hits that 180 split. Again, what the judges are looking for.
She's had a career best of 9.95, but not this year.
That's another difficult leap where you take your eyes completely off the beam, a switch ring. That was a good one. That was a good one.
That's all you need to watch is that genuine reaction from the gymnast herself. And like I said, it's been a struggle. 9.725 was her best in the first two meets. It's going to be way better than that.
1.5 dismount. Stuck the landing.
And it props up the rotation. Right now the low score would be Childs 9.75, but a couple of 9.9 pluses from Malabuyo and Paterario. 9.8 for Fierce, high mark for Arizona so far on the floor. Caroline Harry. Harry vaulted earlier, but just a 9.625, so chance to make it up here. Added this event. Had a 9.875 on floor in the quad at home last week against Oklahoma and Stanford. Could be good here. Could be real good.
Beautiful double tuck. A lot of power in that pass. John mentioned that she is a really, really good gymnast. She knows how to compete at a high level, under pressure. Those are great leaps right there. It's really important that you get your complete turn when you're doing turning elements like that. You want your feet to complete the turn, and you can see that her feet made it completely around. That's what the judges are looking for. You don't want to land at a quarter. You want to land completely at that full or half turn. Double pike. Opened up a little bit early. She came up a little bit short.
Yeah, maybe some fatigue in that as well, because you could see she was really gasping for some air there coming out of it. It seems short if you're sitting in the stands, but that's a long time. It's a lot of gymnastics. Nothing quite to 9-8 yet for Arizona on the floor. Meantime, UCLA is rolling now on the beam. And Campbell to finish the rotation. Campbell was 5th at the NCAAs.
Very high flick lay. And notice how she tried to dance out of that balance check.
Went 9.85 at Oregon State last week.
She's a gymnast that is really zoned in. She owns the 4 inches and is such a solid competitor. She got those heels together.
Pac-12 Freshman of the Year.
So she does a cartwheel gainer, layout full. She sticks the landing. And it's important that she gets her heels together. That's what the judges look for. That's what they consider a stick, a completed element skill.
9.875 for Harry, so that's beautiful. Back in, really propping it up. And here's Malia Hargrove, who's their best on floor, an NCAA finalist a year ago.
She's a gymnast that brings a lot of difficulty to this team. We're going to see that with her opening pass. Full twisting double back. So much height on that. You can see John in the back corner. Great middle pass, connection pass. Another unique one, she did a whip half in there. She is known as a floor worker, a workhorse. She's a team player. Beautiful double tuck. John also mentioned that she is high productivity and low maintenance.
Oh, that's a dream. Nice work by Malia Hargrove, and it hasn't been a good day for her. She's had trouble already, both on the bars, sat down her landing on vault, but was clean and was very good and very high on floor.
This was a good event for her. That was an E pass, a full twisting double back. Double tuck to finish it off. Head coach is happy with that. And she looked very pleased as well. It's good
John was telling us earlier this week how he used the word extremely humble.
Yes.
Which you're not going to find a lot of times. D1, academically gifted, changed her major now in pharmacy. She's a 4.0. Yeah, I wrote it down too. High productivity, low maintenance. I even underlined it because you don't hear that often.
As you mentioned, that's a dream.
Not with gymnasts. I got to take one shot at meat. That's the one. I burned it. There it is. It's over. We'll come back to Westwood. No 10s yet. Pac-12 Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by Clean Simple Eats. Eat clean, keep it simple, and get results. Two important events going on in Los Angeles today. The gymnastics at UCLA with a crowd for the first time in nearly 2 years. And they're going to have a gathering down off of Manchester in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium, home of the LA Rams. 80,000 expected. Rams-Niners for the NFC Championship and a trip to the Super Bowl. I think I would start in about 15, 20 minutes, but stay with us. One more rotation. You can catch up with football. So UCLA coming in was talking about going 49 across the board. That's still live. Went 49.250 on vault, 49.050 on bars, and just went 49.250 on balance beam, which is just below their season best last week at Oregon State. The best score? Emma Malabuyo, 99.25 for the Bruins.
Emma is someone that has experience at competing at a high level, the biggest stage at that. And as I mentioned, she's just having so much fun up there. She knows how to deliver. She knows what she's doing. She's a freshman and has already found her stride.
.9925 for Malabuyo. So that is by far a career best for her. I wonder if she's walking around with a grin on her face. And the 49.250, and UCLA had control of this meet certainly after the second rotation, but they've led wire to wire, and now they'll be finishing on the floor. The good news in that rotation for Arizona, they also hit 49 for just the third time this year in any rotation. And for the first time on floor, a 49.050 for Arizona. And the best score there, Harry with the 9.875. Hargrove and Fears both with 9.8 pluses. So you can see that rotation is there. It just needs to gel and be a bit stronger at the top end with Orman, Castles, and Muller. And Muller had some trouble, so they dropped that score. But they need one of those to pop, and they're over 49 every week. Come back. It's a floor party in Westwood. First time in 2 years. I missed it. Turn up the music. Well, when you leave your name on the floor, you've done something, haven't you? Valerie Condos Field, a longtime coach, often referred to as Miss Val, now retired, but still in the gym. Great to see her again, showing support for the program. And she's always been a big champion for Chris Waller. When everyone was talking about Miss Val leaving UCLA, was it going to be Chris? And she said, of course it's going to be Chris. Mm-hmm. And you were part of that. You were here.
Yeah.
Is there any doubt inside the team?
There was no doubt, for sure. I'm so happy that she's here in support, for sure. And I know people are just loving to see her in the crowd as well.
1991 to 2019 for Miss Val, and she sat right here at this table with us. I think she was hawking her book to me one time. She made me read it.
Did she bring it to you?
Yeah, Don't Wait to Dance, right? Is that what it is?
Did she sign it for you as well?
Yeah, she did actually sign it in, and I have it at home up on a shelf. Let's talk about UCLA again, because it was kind of the theme coming in. It's a big story in gymnastics, of course, and we wanted to see UCLA improve. We weren't asking for a 198 today. We were asking maybe for a 197. You got to go 49.250. UCLA's done that in 2 rotations, but for me, the consistency is there. But I still see apprehension. I was thinking the beam might be their chance to really punch through kind of this mental block and all the emotions that's going on. And they just seem like they were hesitant. Are you seeing it that way, or am I off base?
As we mentioned before, beam is always a make or break event.
Yeah, that's right.
You do need to be in a good mental space to go up on the balance beam. But there were girls that did really well, and then you had some that were a little shaky. But I think overall we're stepping in the right direction.
Right. And for UCLA, ranked 13th on the beam coming in. I said, so while all the other events are kind of struggling right now to find a rotation and find consistency, the beam, the hardest event in gymnastics, actually was pretty good for UCLA. Ranked 13th, and they were averaging better than a 49 coming in, almost a 49.2, and they go 49.250. So maybe that is you need something to build on, right? You need a foothold.
Building blocks. The pyramid of success. We'll look at it that way. John Wooden.
The pyramid of success. Every Bruin knows it, right? Every Bruin's read that book as well. Me also. So UCLA now is going to go to the floor, and that's also a top 20 event for them. They're also averaging better than a 49-1, and they have hit 49 in both of their meets. So maybe they go 49, and maybe somebody goes viral. Hallie Moset back in 17, saw De Jesus, the great Caitlin Ohashi twice. People still talk about Ohashi. I had two people at a soccer game bring up Ohashi to me. Two-timer, Nia Dennis, these are all viral floors. You were here for it. I mean, I sat here, but you were out on the floor. Margzetta Frazier last year.
It was crazy, too, because my sophomore year is when the first routine went viral. So to be there for, 4 out of those 6 routines to go viral, and it just seems like every year there's a new routine that's going to gain traction. But I also love that it's just bringing such attention to our amazing sport. We're amazing athletes. They're amazing athletes. I'm retired now, but
I remember walking through an airport and seeing a group of businessmen huddled around a laptop and watching Caitlin Ohashi's floor from down in Anaheim at the Collegiate Challenge, and they kept replaying it and watching it again.
Because it was just so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you've never seen someone do a double lay, split in the middle of it, and get their feet together and just. We've talked about before how, she didn't have the love for the sport, and then eventually she learned to love it again, and that showed with those viral routines.
We've told that story before, and we just showed Valerie Condo's field, and I have to give credit to Miss Val, not for her gymnastics coaching, but for resurrecting careers and rebuilding people and their confidence. And there's no better story than Caitlin Ohashi, who had lost her love for gymnastics, and Miss Val said, we put the joy back in gymnastics for her. Well, she did it for herself. They just helped. That's what she'll tell you. All right, Arizona finishes the meet on the balance beam. Allison Fears, first up.
There's a beautiful connection, side aerial into a Sassone. So far, this routine is looking really good. She looks so very confident up there. Flowing from one skill to the next. Beautiful dismount. I think that's going to be a really great score. So round off 1.5. Blind landing, we got to remember that. That's more difficult than a regular forward landing.
These teams had two things in common. Both were looking for more coming in, and both boasted balance beam as their best event. Arizona is ranked 22nd in the nation, almost averaging a 49 on balance beam, and I mentioned last week in their quad went 49.225. UCLA on the floor, Sarah Julius, first up. Getting camera ready.
This is such a fun, engaging routine.
Added to the floor lineup late last year.
Start off with the Rudy. That is a 1.5. Beautiful leap. She lost her balance a little bit. The teammates doing the choreography with her.
It's just got a fun, playful theme to it. Yeah, there you go.
Last pass. 1.5 layout. She landed with her feet a little bit in front of her.
And there's BJ Doss, choreographer for UCLA.
Her creativity is just out of this world. To be able to come together and create routines for 20 plus girls that are also very different, that cater to their personalities.
And BJ hasn't worked just with gymnasts, of course. Beyonce, Usher, Pink, Ariana Grande, Bieber. Minaj
She's got a resume.
performed live at the Grammys. Yeah, and she was a UW gymnast back in the day. She was also an assistant coach at Utah for a year. Lena Deeds back to the beam for the Gym Cats of the U of A. Deeds had a 9.7 on bars earlier this afternoon.
John mentioned that they needed to slow her training down to keep her body well. She's definitely in a better place mentally. Her love for the sport has grown. Great save from that front toss. She really held on to it with her toes. Beautiful connection into her dismount.
You've only been doing this for a short time. We've been around this now for, I don't know, 20 years. One of my favorite things is watching these younger teams get better as the season goes on, and watching John Court build this program, watching Tabitha do it at Stanford, watching the Howells do it in Berkeley, watching the Chaplains, and they've been doing it for a long time up in Corvallis. I love watching those small steps, and each time, you know, those 9.7s turn into 9.75s, and then 9.8s, and then 9.85s, and all of a sudden you get ranked, and people start to show up in your gym, and the crowds get bigger. And you can see it with Arizona. It's there. The seeds are in the ground. Back to the floor. Nora Flatley. Back-to-back 9.85s on floor this year.
Triple full. That is a huge pass to start off with.
Don Palangi was right there. Keep her in bounds. Little elephant walk into the corner.
Similar to Beam, she just brings so much artistry to this sport. Her landings are spot on today. Beautiful leaps.
Nora Flatley with lots of support in the building from the students section, her teammates, and a roommate, Marquetta Frazier, coming over.
One thing to know, those two are absolute besties.
Well, Flatley's been terrific on the floor. Here's that first
It's a
pass.
triple full.
Who kept the heel up.
Twists her body 3 times in the air, so very difficult. Her last pass was also so very good. You can just see how much control she has of those landings, which is very important and what the judges look for.
7 people in the all-around, and Flatley leading the way. Her lowest score is a 9.8. That was on bars, 9.85 on vault, and a 9.9 on beam. And now waiting for what we expect will be a top score on floor while we wait back to the beam. Muller. Only the second beam of Muller's career. Had a 9.825 quad meet at McHale last week in Tucson.
Beautiful
Just
series.
looks like a beamer, doesn't she?
She really attacked that series. And again, I have said this before, doing a side aerial into a back layout step out is so very difficult because you are going from a sideways motion into a backwards motion. And she handled that so very well.
Turn while moving, going upside down on a 4-inch.
On 4 inches at that.
Sounds simple.
prepping for her dismount. 1.5. Stuck that landing.
Nora Flatley was just running through the UCLA student section, trying to get everybody jacked up. You know, you guys have been doing that now for a long time, and the students, they call for it.
The way Miss Val
Had a
would
great floor. They waved you
throw
over.
us into the crowd to run through them. Yeah. She made sure we gave the crowd some love.
Well, you want to reward them, right, for coming out so they come back.
Exactly. And they like to be in the mix too, so it's really important to kind of include them in this action.
9.9 for Flatley. That is a season high and just under her career high of 9.95. So you can feel UCLA getting some traction now. Flatley's 9.9 and hands the baton to Jordan Childs. First floor of the year?
I believe so.
Yep.
I'm excited to see this new routine because she just got to campus
Oh, look at how
a month
springy
ago.
she is. My goodness.
Beautiful. Some Lizzo piano work. Like you mentioned, she is springy.
Just a little short.
That's very difficult to do a double layout for your second pass, and you don't see that very often in college.
Playing right to the students.
Great amplitude on those leaps. Superwoman, grooving it out before that last pass. Double pike, held on to it.
I want to see that one again. That was great.
That was fun.
Great react shot right there. I think she said, whoa.
Here's her grooving it into the last pass. And usually gymnasts take that moment to tone it down, get a breath. Not Jordan.
Don't waste any. Well, that was fun. That had a little something for everybody. You didn't want to look away. First time this year, debuts it in the home opener. We'll look out for that one again. Muller goes 9.9. Loving that. Meantime, Childs is going to work the student section in the background there.
That was a very good routine from Mueller.
Here's Malia Hargrove.
We're going to see a lot of height from her in this series.
Hargrove had a 9.85 on floor, so it comes in with some momentum. Beautiful. Oh, thought she had held on to that series. That back foot slipped off. Tough day for Malia. She's a terrific gymnast. She'll be back.
Good jump connection, and even though she's having a hard meet today, each routine she finishes strong, which I think says a lot about her character.
Yeah, you can't quit in the middle. Assistant coach there is Taylor Spears, now in her third season and a former national champion on the balance beam during her time at Oklahoma. So she knows about the ups and downs of beam life. Here comes Brooklyn Moores. She's all yours.
I'm so very excited for this. Keep an eye for the artistry.
Love it.
she just draws you in, and you can't look away. Beautiful leaps. Last pass, she struggled with this last week.
And again. Can you pick anything up on that? Where the trouble's coming from? On this move 2 weeks in a row? Oh, let's go back and pick it up early.
Just notice how she drags out each movement. You don't see this much in gymnastics, artistic gymnastics specifically. Usually some of the routines are very posy, but not with Brooklyn. She struggled with this last week. It looked like she tried to twist this one. Last week she wasn't twisting, it was just a punch front, so I think they're just trying to figure out the best last connection pass for her. And again, like we mentioned, you know, they're trying to find a sweet spot with these athletes that came from the Olympics. You know, they have all these big passes, these big skills. So once they find that sweet spot last pass for her, she'll be in a good place.
Yeah, she had a 9.875 on that routine earlier this year.
Very unique mount.
Jessica Castles. Until now, Castles having a pretty good day. Floor 9.75, and a while back at the vault 9.825. The fall here early in the routine on beam.
I can even see Anna Patarariu in front of me cheering her on. The international gymnasts have each other's backs. See a double wolf turn, very difficult.
Yeah, no hurry, I like it. Nice and
That was
easy.
super controlled.
Well, we've seen her do 3.
Oh, wow.
And what did John Court said she could do 4 in the gym.
So very impressive.
Some people just have a knack. Hold on to it. Hold up onto the toes. Quick word from Taylor Spears. Wow, they really took points off the board on Moores. Goodness. Alabuyo and Campbell now for UCLA as they try to go 49 across the board for the first time this year.
We're going to see another fun and playful routine. Maybe a Carlton in there. Beautiful double layout. She was a tad short, but she held it together. There it is, Carlton. A little trouble on that middle pass. It looks like her legs buckled from under her, but she was able to hold on to it and get that front tuck around. Engaging the crowd.
Going back and forth from her teammates to the student section.
It's all about balance.
Teammates and classmates.
Double pike. Great way to finish that off. Little stomach spin. This is my favorite part, personally.
Well, sure, it always makes you laugh, doesn't it?
The judges will take off a bit for her middle pass, but that will be a better score than Brooklyn.
There's the conference. Chris Waller, Don Palangi, and BJ Das. Albuyo's going to go over and get some love. Yeah, you got to bring him back. Remember, it's been 694 days since they allowed a crowd in here for gymnastics. And I understand the protocols, but it was so hard to come into this building and see it empty, because we know what it's like when there's 8, 9, 10,000 people and they know the routines and they're clapping along and they're engaged.
We weren't even allowed on the floor.
That's right. They put us way upstairs. And it was a strange experience, but of course we all have them now, don't we? To the beam once again. Castles.
Serena.
No, it is. Yeah, they have Castles up on the board, but that's because they haven't put her score in yet. There it is. Now they have Castles score in. All right. Now we go to Linden. Well, Serena's been great on this event this year. Had a 9.925 to finish second in the quad last week, a 9.825 in her opener at Southern Utah. But remember, last week against Oklahoma and Stanford.
Right on. Right on.
Went end to end.
Again, and this is why she's in the anchor spot. John mentioned she hits 9.9 plus routines in the gym every day. That's what you want to see from an anchor position. Side aerial, back full, held it together, got those heels together.
I like Taylor Spears' reaction. There was no reaction until she knew she held on to the landing. John Cortola's different mindset when she's up on the beam. She's aggressive, has that good relationship with Taylor about the beam. Voted Impact Player of the Month for the University of Arizona. Was on the podcast for the Pac-12. Dynamic young woman. That was beautiful stuff. So Arizona's got a shot at a season high today. So that would be a nice takeaway. Remember, no defense in gymnastics, so you come in with your own goals.
We are in for a treat with this routine.
Shea Campbell. Last year's Pac-12 co-champion on this event.
Front handspring, front double full. Shea went to a dance convention this summer, so this routine is more of an advanced routine in terms of choreo. Held on to that landing.
Yeah, had to fight for it.
Her feet were just in front of her again, so it's hard to control and absorb the landing when your feet are that much in front of you, but she knew what to do to save it. Break it down. Double tuck and stuck it.
absolutely on that landing, no doubt. At the end of a long and challenging routine. Who said the floor can't be fun?
Oh, it's a floor party. It's her last pass. Notice how she absorbs her landing and just pulls it together.
They were right with her.
Confetti.
That's a homecoming parade, isn't it? First time in nearly 2 years they let the students back in. Just opened up Pauley for basketball the other night, also against the U of A. Had 11,000 in here for that game. So now all we have to do is the math. And continue the celebration in the meantime. We'll come back and give you final scores. We return to Westwood live on the Pac-12 Network. Well, we know for sure UCLA wins the meet, so that was the first box they wanted to check coming in. They wanted to go 49 across the board. Still waiting for the numbers to come in on floor to see if they reach that. But it is, at least from start to finish, it is their best meet of the year. They come up with a 196.4 and just short on floor. Let's start with the floor, since we just finished that. Jim Watson and Janae Anna's back courtside at Pauley Pavilion. What'd you think of the floor? There's some fun there. You can see there's some real potential for high scores. Do they have enough across the board?
Yes, I think the floor is very similar to beam. We saw some very...
There we go. That's better. Sorry.
Thank you.
Just wanted to hear you.
Appreciate that.
All right. Go ahead.
Like I mentioned, floor is very similar to beam. We saw some struggles, but also some really, really good routines.
Yeah.
We see the potential, and again, building blocks. They're getting better with each meet.
So, look, gymnastics season is short. It's 100 days. So we say it's early in the season because it's their third meet. But they had the Collegiate Challenge canceled, so this really should have been their fourth or fifth. So we're almost mid-season, is what I'm saying. There's not a lot of time to build up to this because they have Utah coming in here on Friday. So, I don't know, is UCLA ready for Utah? Comes in number 2 in the country.
I think they just have to put on their best for Utah because Utah is number 2 in the country.
Yep. And
they're absolutely killing it. So if UCLA can just continue to build, it's going to be a good meet.
You were in Salt Lake City. You saw them. Utah's throwing up mid-197s already. Nora Flatley joins us, the senior from Iowa. Nora, you had a fantastic day. I don't even know if you know your score in the all-around. I think it's your best ever, 39.450. Have you ever done better than that?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't pay too much attention to scores, but I'm just really proud of how the team came out here today. Every week has been improvement since our first meet, and I'm just really hyped to get back out here on Friday.
Yeah, so coming into this, and there's been so much drama and challenges and injuries and everything around this program, and that's part of gymnastics. What's the mood of the team right now?
Our motto right now is resilience. Anything that we're thrown at, we're strong enough to get through it as a team, and we're going to keep pushing till the end. So the motto for this team is resilience.
And I just love watching you on beam, all of the events you do actually, but you get into this, there's this face you make. What do you think about when you're on the beam, when you're on the floor? Because I always think of Black Swan with you, but I don't know exactly if that's what is going in your mind, but you really just draw people in with your performance quality.
Yeah, I don't really have a character or a persona that I get into, but I just try to be my most confident self every time, and obviously that shows on the outside, so I'm glad, but overall it's just trying to make myself confident and poised all throughout.
Nora, we know how good you can be on both beam and floor. What about your vault today? A 9.85, I think, is a career high for you. You got to be happy with the vault.
Oh, yeah. Every time I've been doing vault this season, I've been surprised at my score.
Right on.
I mean, I have low expectations for myself on vault, but I think I got to stop doing that.
That's
because
right.
I'm improving every week, so.
It's time to bump them up.
Yeah.
We always like to ask gymnasts, talking outside of yourself, what's your takeaway today? Who impressed you? What did you like watching today amongst your teammates?
Everybody, every
How about
weekend.
somebody off the floor? I mean, we were just watching Shay on the floor. And
Oh my gosh, Shay takes my breath away every time she does floor. Like, I wish I could dance like her. She is stunning, perfection every time she goes. So Shay, Emma Malabuyo, all those girls, everybody just amazes me every time.
Nora, you've been through the wars before, and you've been through season after season. Now you're a veteran. Next week, Utah's coming in. I know you're celebrating, you're enjoying this one. When do you guys start thinking about Utah? And Utah's already been throwing up mid-197s. Are
Yeah.
you guys ready for the Red Rocks?
Of course we're ready. We're always ready for what's next. Like I said, we're building up every weekend, And for me personally, I'm just going to keep my head down, keep working, make sure I'm a confident rock for this team, and continue to put up good numbers.
Yeah, you're a senior, so you got to set the tone for all the kids, right?
This was my first home meet, and it's emotional, but
don't do that.
exciting.
And did you get a chance to talk to Miss Val?
Oh, not yet, but I was giving her winks and little hearts from the floor.
It's good to see her back in the building, isn't it?
Of course, missed her.
Appreciate your time. Continued good luck. It was a blast watching you today.
Thank
and we'll
you.
see you down the road.
Thank you, and thank you to all the fans for watching.
Hang in there, Nora.
Thank you.
Nora Flatley, the senior from Iowa for UCLA today, who goes 9.85 vault, 9.8 bars, 9.9 on the beam, 9.9 on the floor for a career best 39.450 in the all-around, and claims she didn't know, and I believed her, but it blows away her best, her career all-around. It's because vault had been a problem for her. That's why I knew she'd like that. You know, that vault probably isn't going to make highlight reels, but you saw the look on her face when I asked her about it, right?
Yeah, exactly, because you know your strong events, you know your weaker events, you know, and it's really good when you are given an opportunity to compete for a team and you're on your not strong suit and you surprised yourself, and it's just always a good feeling.
We want to balance the ledger and talk a little bit about Arizona. Allison Fears goes 39.250 in her all-around, and Muller, another freshman, 39.150. And again, that's what John Core was talking about with the Gym Cats. They're not only more talented, they're wider, they're good on everything. And here's the lineup for next week. I'm going to have Arizona in Seattle, California, and Stanford in the Bay Area battle.
One.
You're working that one?
Yep.
And then Saturday is Arizona State and Oregon State, a battle of two teams ranked in the top 20. So 6 teams in the conference in the top 20. Pac-12 continues to get better. Right now, the best continues to be Utah. California's second, Oregon State right there. Will UCLA join the leaders of the pack? That'll do it for us. For David Feldman, your producer, Mark Wolfson, your talented director, my partner, Janae Honest. Happy birthday, Janae.
Thank you.
I'm Jim Watson. So long from Pauley. It was good to have you back. We'll see you next week in Seattle.